Okay. Well, thank you for joining me for our new member orientation. Uh, I've changed the name slightly from last time. It's now called Tips for a New Toastmaster. This is a world premiere. I still taken the content that I've developed over the last couple of months and I've rehashed it in a different format. So I do welcome any feedback that I can get. Before I get started, just a notice of recording. This is going to be recorded and most likely it will be shared on the YouTube channel. From my experience, that unless you're speaking, your face is not shown. But if for any reason you would not like to be shown, please feel free to put your camera on. Although I would prefer if you keep your cameras on because it's always easier to talk to friendly faces rather than black screens. So again, if you don't want shown, there will be a question and answer session at the end of this. I will turn the camera off, the recording off, if you don't want to ask the camera on camera. This way you have two opportunities to ask the question. One of the things I always start off my trainings with is the Toastmasters mission and values. The Toastmaster mission is we empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. That sums up Toastmasters' entire reason for existence is we want to help people become better speakers, better communicators, better leaders. The club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. I usually sum this up as clubs provide a safe, supportive environment where people can feel comfortable challenging themselves and getting out their comfort zone. This is how we grow. Toastmasters international core values: integrity, respect, service, excellence. Everything in Toastmasters goes back to those four principles. And one of the questions I'm often asked is, why don't they have the building acronym RISE? It lends itself to its purpose. It's because they wanted integrity first. Without integrity, nothing else matters. So that is why it is listed as number one. Toastmasters promise. This is something I've been working on over the last couple of months because people don't realize that when they sign their membership application, they are committing to this promise. People are treating this as a term and condition. Whenever you sign up for new software, you get your latest Apple update. Do you accept the terms and conditions? Yes. You have no idea what you're agreeing to. That's the way people are treating this. So I just want to quickly go over the Toastmasters promise. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend members regularly, to prepare all my speeches and leadership projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, currently Pathways, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat club members and our guests with respect, courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so that they can see the benefits of Toastmaster memberships, to adhere to the guidelines for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, and to maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activity. If we remember, this is why we joined Toastmasters. We promise this. If we live up to our promise, not only will we succeed, but the members around us will succeed. I'm encouraging all clubs to bring this up at least quarterly to remind the members this is why they are here. Okay. How many think that this picture describes them when they first came to a Toastmasters meeting and joined Toastmasters? Nervous. I still, even though I've been a member 11 plus years, I still remember how nervous I was walking into my first meeting. Well, what's expected? The unknown. And then when I gave my icebreaker speech, I tell this joke, and it's not far off from the actual truth. People were so afraid that I was going to pass out that they had 911 dialed on their cell phone. Again, being nervous is normal. Anytime you do something, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be nervous. It's getting it done. Saw this slide when I was preparing this and realized most people would rather jump out of a plane than give a speech in public. And these people don't have parachutes on. That's how scary public speaking is. Accept it, that it is okay to be nervous. As I said, 11-year plus member, I still get nervous before speeches. I've learned how to deal with it and use it to improve my speaking skills. It's okay. Just accept it. As a club, clubs want to provide a welcoming environment. If you saw this young lady opening the door like that, would you feel you were welcome in that room? This is the environment clubs should be sending. And as an organization, we are very welcoming of new members. Everyone in Toastmasters at one time was a new member. We want to welcome you into our family. We want to unite. We want to get together. We want to be as one. The whole goal here is getting you up in front of speaking in front of people, whether it's 6 other people in this room or 1,000 people. The skill sets are generally the same and just getting you involved, getting you up and speaking. We want to blend you into the organization because you add flavor to the organization and the club and the people around you. A lot of the new members say, well, I have nothing to contribute. That is not true. You have life experiences. I highly doubt that anybody on this call in a club has the same exact life experiences as you. We want to blend you in. We want to make you part of our mixture and add the flavor that you bring. So why do people join Toastmasters? Build confidence for public speaking, become a more effective speaker. And one of the things I've learned is most people do join Toastmasters because they're afraid of public speaking, or they have an opportunity, they're giving a speech at a wedding, a business thing. They want to get better at, or they want to improve in public speaking. But we've had some really top-notch people who made a living out of speaking join Toastmasters because it's an environment where they can try new things. They want to help each other. So again, improve presentation skills, improve the leadership skills. This is one of the undersung things that people don't realize until they get into our organization, is that it is a great place to develop your leadership skills. I, like most people, joined Toastmasters for the speaking, get over my fear of public speaking. I developed a leadership track. A couple of years ago, I was district director. I have seen the difference that the leadership can make. Yet, leadership and speaking, they're all tied together because you cannot be effective leader without being an effective communicator. And by the same token, if you're speaking, why are you speaking? Generally, you want somebody to do something. You want to motivate somebody. So again, they're intertwined together. Increase my fluency in a language. This is one of the reasons why Toastmasters is huge overseas, is because you have a lot of people who English isn't their first language. It gives them an opportunity to practice their English skills in a safe, supportive environment. By the same token, people who come to this country who English isn't their first language, they want to practice because they don't feel comfortable speaking in English among people who that's their only language. So it gives them a safe, supportive environment. Network with others and build social connections. Again, this is very undersung. We're not a networking organization, but I regularly see people who make business connections, personal connections through Toastmasters, the friendships they have. I've seen a couple people actually get married because they met their future spouse at a Toastmasters meeting. So all these are reasons why people join Toastmasters. So as a new member, and I know most clubs aren't doing this, and I am guilty of this at my clubs, we should be having you fill out a new member profile. And looking at this, one of the reasons why you don't fill this out is there's a lot going on here. But I'm gonna send this out with the notes for the meeting. I encourage you to fill out as much as you're comfortable filling out this and giving it to one of the club officers or your mentor, which I will get to momentarily. Pick a couple items, primarily the competency and the skills. What are you looking to get out of Toastmasters? We can't help you reach your goals without knowing what your goals are. And I'm going to be working with the clubs to encourage them to fill out this form or a version of this form. Again, getting back to goals. You joined Toastmasters for a reason. Whatever your reason, that's great. But come up with the goals. What do you want to do? What is your success look like in Toastmasters? And when you're setting the goals, write them down, pen or pencil to paper. Do not dictate them to your phone. Do not type them in your computer. You can do that at a later date, but when you're planning them, write them on the paper. Psychologically, you take ownership of them at a greater percentage if you write them down. If you want to write them down on a book and then put them in your computer at a later time, that's fine. But by writing them down, you're owning them, and then refer to them again at later dates and see how you're coming or what was the obstacles with that. Calendar. This is serving two functions. One, what's your time period for Toastmasters? Do you have are you going to be the best man or maid of honor at a wedding in 6 months? That's going to be your time frame. That's going to be your goal. Do you have a big presentation coming up work? You're going to be a little quicker. Or is this an overall skill set where you may have a little bit of time? The other thing is prioritize Toastmasters. If your club meets twice a month, I'm going to just throw out the first and third Wednesday at 7 p.m. Write them in your calendar. Go through the whole year. Write those dates down. As much of your life as you can revolve around Toastmasters, do so. I understand that there's certain family obligations. If your child has a play the first Wednesday, skip Toastmasters. If you're having a family reunion the third Wednesday, skip Toastmasters. But anything that's adjustable, your work schedule, family dinners, prioritize Toastmasters. Let your family, let your employer, let anybody in your life know that you're joining Toastmasters, why you joined Toastmasters. I can guarantee if you take Toastmasters seriously and work the program, not only will you benefit, people around you will benefit because, with your family, you will get a higher paying job. I have seen too many cases where people have gotten large raises in the first year or two of Toastmasters, got in new positions. Your boss will notice you have had significant productivity. They may be afraid you're going to take their job. But again, explain to them why they're doing it. And if they have questions, bring them to a meeting. A lot of spouses do Toastmasters together. After 8 years, I finally got my wife to join Toastmasters, and she's reaping the benefits of it. So again, prioritize Toastmaster and bring the people in your life into your Toastmaster circle. Okay. Get a mentor. This is one of the key things that can increase your likelihood of Toastmasters is get someone who's going to show you and explain to you what Toastmasters is. How you get the mentor is a lot of clubs, and I'll say the better clubs, assign a mentor to a new member as soon as they join. But at a minimum, if you're a new member, ask for a mentor. One of the holdups to people asking for a mentor is, well, I don't want to bother them. They're busy. If somebody volunteers to be a mentor, it's because they want to do it. They've reaped the benefits of Toastmasters. Part of their obligation, part of their Toastmaster promise is to help the newer Toastmasters. And in turn, once you get a couple speeches under your belt and you get comfortable with it, you become a mentor. This is how Toastmasters has lasted for 100 years, where the experienced members are helping the newer members, who in turn become experienced members who help newer members. It's cyclical on it. So one of the primary jobs of a Toastmaster or mentor is when you join Toastmasters, and for those of you who have joined recently, you're bombarded with information. Toastmasters International, especially the website, which I'll get to in a few minutes, has tons and tons and tons of information. It can be information overload. And this is what it looks like in your mind. A mentor, they help organize the information, prioritize it, and give you a to-do list on what to do, what your action should be. They're also a sounding board. There's somebody to hold your hand. A couple, things, notes on mentors is one, some newer clubs may not have enough members to be mentors. I encourage them to get members to have Toastmaster buddies. Somebody who else just joined the Toastmasters, they're not going to have the same experience, but they're an accountability partner. Sometimes two people trying to figure out something is a lot better than one. And as I said earlier, everybody brings their own life experiences and skill set. Also, if you're accountable to somebody, you're more likely to come to the meeting and vice versa. And when you give your icebreaker, if you have a friendly face out there, it makes things go so much easier. Or you don't need to get a mentor from your own club. There's some towns where there may be 2 or 3 Toastmasters clubs in that area, and there's one. So you always ask for a mentor, or you may have a friend who is a Toastmaster in a different club. So there's nothing saying that the mentor needs to be from your club. Next resource, and they can help you log on to Toastmasters International. Again, I encourage people, if you haven't done so, when you join Toastmasters, you would have received an email with a login and how to set up your password. I'm just going to give a brief overview on what's on the Toastmasters International website. So when you log on, it's going to give you your home page. It's going to give you, the education program, membership, resources, and the magazine, which I'll get to later. So down here is some important information. You have public speaking, the Toastmasters magazine, and webinars on demand. These are all included in your membership. Make use of them. There is information there. All you have to do is look for it. And the second slide is the bottom of the web page. The homepage has so much information, I needed to split it into two slides. One of the biggest resources, and they no longer mail the magazine. You actually have to look for it a little bit. You do get emails letting you know when the new magazine is live, but every month there's a Toastmaster magazine. This is the latest April edition. On the cover as a story, the power of storytelling. And then on the table of contents, this is giving you some ideas of what's in the magazine. You have bring your story, your speech to life with a story. They have a tale of a Toastmaster who had lunch with 500 unique individuals. What are you doing if your career change? There's all different types of information on here. And the one thing about the Toastmasters magazine, I'd say 80 to 90% of the items that are in there, I'd refer to them as evergreen, which means the information that's there, it was valuable 20 years ago. It's going to be valuable 20 years from now. Occasionally, there will be things with technology that changes, but personal communication, it's always the same. It never changes. And with the Toastmasters website, you can go back. I'm not sure how far it goes back. I know it's many, 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 many years. You can go back and look up articles and see how they can help you. If you're struggling with an issue, you have questions, go back to the Toastmasters magazine. They have several articles. When I was preparing this presentation, I was looking for information on table topics. I found several articles, several years old, on how to deal with table topics, how to manage that. So again, that's the type of information you're going to have. Also, they have some pictures of other Toastmasters. And I'm using this to illustrate that Toastmasters is a worldwide organization. They're all over the world. Everyone is different. Everyone is the same. And this shows you the culture of Toastmasters taking their magazines overseas and getting their picture taken, and Toastmasters clubs from around the world. As new Toastmasters, you're probably figuring, okay, I signed up to be timer. Or actually, let me change that. I signed up to be counter. What does that mean? On the website, there is a section called Club Meeting Roles. There is information on every role on in a meeting. So, again, just click on there. It will give you step-by-step instructions on how to do it. I will get to the meeting role in a minute. Also on there is Yodlee. A lot of seasoned Toastmasters, experienced Toastmasters, are not aware that these even exist. About 18 months ago, Toastmasters added this to their website. And let me just bear with me 1 second. Okay, it's not there. It's on your homepage. If you scroll all the way down to your homepage, it's there. What it is it records your speeches. You set it up, you talk into the camera, and it is going to give you feedback on your speeches. Do you overuse a word? Do you use too many filler words? It's not going to rate you on your content. It's more on your presentation skill. Am I talking too fast? Am I talking too slow? It's a good way of practicing your speaking and getting feedback. Also, if you're afraid of table topics, which I would say 80% of Toastmasters, even long-term Toastmasters, are afraid of table topics. Down here, there is a way of, they'll ask you sample sample table topics questions. So you'll be able to practice in the privacy of your home. You are able to record this. You don't need to record this, and no one has to watch them. If they are recorded, you can delete them as soon as they're done. So it's safe for you to do if you do not want to share it. It's fun to play with. It's a nice rainy day activity. In the Philadelphia area, it's gorgeous today, but we have those days where you just don't want to go outside. Spend a half hour practicing with Yodlee. It is really a nifty program. This is where we got to the ah counter. And yes, I will reverse the slides in my next presentation. But getting back to the ah counter sheet, this is a sample. There's one for timer, there's one for grammarian for all the roles. When you first do the role, you generally have to introduce yourself. And most people go, well, what do I say? This tells you up here exactly what to say. If you've done it a couple times, feel free to paraphrase it, put it in your own words. But the first couple times you do it, feel free to read here. And it's going to ask you, fill in the person's name, the well, so, like, but repeat words. If somebody double clutches or they repeat the same thing over again, or they repeat the same thing over again, or other. We all have these pet peeve filler words that annoy you. Mine is and so whenever I go for the other, that's the one that I'm looking for. But again, this is a cheat sheet. And the first couple times you do a role, you don't need to be perfect at it. Just do the best you can. If you miss somebody saying an or an ah, don't worry about it. It's the practicing of the skill, getting you to listen, getting you involved with the meeting, and pointing out people's filler words. And again, with these filler words and the grammarian, we don't do things to embarrass people. We do them to make sure we get better. Because once you're aware of the filler words, you're more likely to remove them from your language. And one of my standard jokes with this is it will become difficult to listen to actors or sports stars interviewed because they use them a lot. Next up on the list is Pathways. I hope everyone here has signed up for Pathways already. It is the educational program for Toastmasters. The analogy I've been using is, do you need to sign up for Pathways to succeed in Toastmasters? No. But it's like going to a college class and not buying the textbook, or if you buy the textbook, not opening the textbook. Can you pass the class? Yes. Will you excel in the class? Probably not. Pathways, all honesty, it had a clunky rollout. They have been working hard, and it is making significant improvements. But if you're struggling with public speaking, it is an awesome guide because it does projects with a purpose. So to log on, same Toastmasters International website, and then you're just going to click on educational projects, and then it's going to ask you to take you to Basecamp. I am not going to get into too much detail on there. When I send the recording of this, I will send some resources to help you navigate it. But that's a whole presentation in itself, and that's just a small chunk of this. But do register for Pathways. And this is what Pathways does. There's 5 levels. For level 1, it is the same for all paths. Mastering the fundamentals. Picture kindergarten, first grade, where you're just learning your basics. You can't write sentences before you know your alphabet. So, icebreaker. If you haven't given your icebreaker yet, it's the first speech you give. It's the easiest and the hardest speech you ever give, because a lot of people, it's the first time speaking in front of a group in a long time, but it's on a subject you should know well yourself. Writing a speech with purpose. When you're giving a speech, you should be giving it with a purpose. Introduction to vocal variety and body language. This is big. This is something even experienced speakers struggle with. But it's here because it wants you to be aware of that these are ways to enhance your speech. Are you expected to be extremely proficient in level 1? No, it's just making you aware of it. Then the last project is in 3 parts, but it's evaluations. It's giving a speech, getting an evaluation, redoing the same or similar speech, incorporating the evaluation with it, and then evaluating somebody else's speech. Because this is why we're at Toastmasters, is we want to get better. If somebody said to you, oh, your speech was perfect, I wouldn't change a thing. Well, what do you have to learn? So again, there's always room for improvement in speeches. I'm not going to go into detail on the other levels. I'm just going to give a quick overview. So level 2 is learning your style. So depending on which path you choose, this is going to be slightly different, but it's going to be learning your leadership skill. It's going to be learning how you learn. There's some self-assessment tests and then giving a report on those tests. It is very eye-opening. It's similar to taking like a psychological assessment on yourself. Level 3 is increasing your knowledge. So you have the fundamentals. This is taking it to the next level. Level 4 is building the skills. All the skills you've learned in the first 3 levels, it's bringing them all together. And then 5 is demonstrating your expertise. It's, example is cooking. You can take cooking classes and learn how to make different components of the dish. Level 5 would be putting on a dinner party where you're bringing all those skills you've learned, bringing them together and tying them a nice little bow. There are Pathways resources available. You should be updating this, and I'm going to mention this again later in my presentation. If you prefer paper and pencil, the sheet is very readily available, and it will be in my notes I send out the next day or so, but also be updating it on the Pathways website, because this way you will get credit for the work you do and your club will get credit for your progression. And it will update the next chapter in your Toastmasters journey. And this is a sample of core, the paths and competencies. This is showing 11 different paths. They have limited it to 6 because they want to focus on enhancing that. So a couple of these are no longer available. But I just wanted to make sure you were aware that Pathways still enables you to tailor the program to why you joined Toastmasters. If you're more speaking oriented or more leadership oriented, it's going to enable you to change the path. I chose an example on this to give you an example of the projects that are on here. I chose presentation mastery. While with Pathways, you can select your own path or take an assessment to see which one most matches why you joined Toastmasters. My recommendation is, if you don't know which path to take, don't let that stop you. Pick presentation mastery, because most people do join Toastmasters to improve their presentation and speaking skills. This is the one that's most geared towards that. The other thing I would do to let people know is, if you choose the wrong path, level 1 is all the same. And if you get through level 1 and realize that you chose the wrong path and you've taken it seriously, you can buy a second path for $20. You've most likely already reaped the benefits of Toastmasters, which $20 will seem, well, getting rid of $20 is never easy. It will be more insignificant. It will be a better investment in your time and money. Again, I'm getting back to the Pathways goal worksheet because I want to make sure that you update the pathways as you go along. More information, I understand some people are not on this call, are not from District 38, but District 38's website, it's tmdistrict38.org, has excellent Pathways resources on there. There's a section up there where it says Pathways tab. All this is down there. Check it out. You probably won't use all of these, but if you have a Pathways question, 90+% chance that it's in here somewhere. And while we're on the district websites, Toastmasters International has great resources on helping you become better public speakers and leaders. But check the district websites out regularly. District 38's tmdistrict38.org. On the homepage, it has whatever current events we are currently promoting. Currently, next weekend is our district conference, and I know 66 is also next weekend. So we have the conference, and then Friday night we have a Friday fun night with board games before the conference. And then there's different upcoming activities. There's profile stories on members to point out, yes, Toastmasters does work. It does have success stories, and it has many success stories. Also, at the bottom of this page are district incentives that come up where your clubs can earn money by doing certain things. And again, this is part of you're part as a new member, you are part of the club's team. What you do does affect the club. If you register for Pathways, they're closer to getting that 100% Pathways incentive. If you have friends who join, they have, the Beat the Clock, which is May through June. They can earn a ribbon, they can earn respect and different accolades from that. Also, we highlight clubs that hit anniversaries, milestone anniversaries. We have 55 years, 20 years, 15, 10, and 5 years. The one that's 5 years is actually one of my clubs that I helped start. And then down below, you have, different other current activities on things you can participate in at the club level. Also, the district calendar. What's going on in the district? Are there open houses you can visit? Are there training sessions? This is where you put the information. If you become the vice president, public relations, which I'll get to in a few minutes, you can have this put on the district calendar. It's a way of knowing what's going on in the district. While the clubs do a lot of work, there's more to Toastmasters than just the club. Yeah. One of my big tips, get involved. Do something. Joining Toastmasters isn't going to help you. Showing up to meetings will help you a little. You need to get involved. And how do you get involved? Start somewhere. And everyone starts at their own place, and they progress at their own rate. I've seen members who were afraid to stand up and say their name. Others, you could have asked them to do a 20 to 25-minute presentation on the first meeting, no problem. Most people are somewhere in between, but we all start with where we're at. Again, your time frame, schedule it, get involved, write down your plan, come up with a plan on what you're going to do, when you're going to speak, when your meetings are. I touched on that earlier. Just speak. There is opportunities at most meetings for members to speak. Even if you're not doing a speech, there's roles you can do. You can be the counter, you can be the timer, you can be the grammarian. At a minimum, you can be a table topics speaker. It is one of those nice problems. Some clubs, not everyone gets the opportunity to speak at table topics because so many people are volunteering. But anytime they say, who wants to speak at table topics? Your hand should be the first one up. Give speeches. Give your icebreaker. You will never feel you're ready for your icebreaker. Most common response when I ask a new member, are you ready to give your icebreaker? I'm as ready as I'll ever be. But challenge yourself. But again, even if you're not ready to give a speech yet, and again, seen members who have given their icebreaker on the first meeting after they join, others wait almost a year to give their icebreaker. Most people should be, 1 to 2 months should be the goal, getting comfortable. But again, we go at our own pace. I use this. There's a reference out there. Again, this will be in the notes I sent. A Toastmaster wears many hats. It used to be a book. It's now a digital download you can get, and I will send you a link to this. It explains every role at a Toastmasters meeting. It's a great resource for new members to learn what the roles are, but take a role. And as I said, at worst, at least become a table topic speaker or become the table topics master. One of the things members learn very quickly is if you're the table topics master, you don't have to answer a table topics question. So again, that is a good way to get you in front of the crowd involved. Do evaluations. Next to table topics, doing an evaluation is probably one of the most scary parts for a new Toastmaster because they don't believe that they have the experience to give a good evaluation. And in all honesty, they may be right, but you cannot become a good evaluator without doing evaluations. Have them get up there. Usually the problem is they struggle at giving criticism on the speech. They focus on the positive, which is good. If that gets them up there, try and match, with a more experienced Toastmaster, because then they're going to be able to take more of the, critique and have the experienced Toastmaster let the new evaluator know, feel free to be mean because they're the ones who can take it. But again, just getting to do it. Other suggestion is if you're not ready to do an evaluation yet, these forms are readily available online. Do a shadow evaluation. If there's a speaker speaking, print these out, do your own version while they're speaking. If you feel comfortable, give them to the speaker. If not, take them home, throw them in the shredder. But again, just practice getting the skills of doing the evaluation. But after a while, you will become a good evaluator. One of my stories is I went about 6 months without doing an evaluation. It wasn't on purpose. It's one of those that just happened. I did an evaluation at a meeting. Oh, it was awful. It was probably one of the worst evaluations anybody has ever given. From that point on, I have made a point of doing an evaluation at least once a month because I need to keep the skill set strong. And this is just going over an example of what the evaluation form looks like. It's basically telling people different categories. I'll just pick a couple, like gestures. Are they really good? Are they excel? Are they accomplished? They're emerging or developing. So just check 1 through 5 and just a couple comments here or there. It doesn't need to be anything too detailed. And then the last page actually explains what the different ratings mean. So for gestures, a 5 means they fully integrated physical gestures with the content, deliver, explicit speech. So different topics on that. So again, practice this if you're not comfortable doing it in front of the audience, but try and get up and do an evaluation as soon as possible. As I said earlier, most of the heavy lifting goes on at the club level, but there's a whole world of Toastmasters outside of the club. The International Convention this year is in Anaheim. Last year it was in the Bahamas. Generally, they have these conventions at places people want to go. So try, if possible, attend the International Convention. Speech contests. We are at the end of speech contest season, but most of the district contests are coming up. If you're able to attend them, please do so. Next year, all the speech contests will be in person. I encourage you to visit them or compete in them. I will talk about that later, but that is a great way to meet people outside your club. Online classes such as this. Ann Golden in District 38 has done a marvelous job of creating master classes where Toastmasters from around the district share their skill set. They help others. Almost all the trainings are on Zoom. Most of them are recorded, so you can watch them. You can learn more information, and attend the district conference. As I said earlier, District 38 is going to be next weekend in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area. and District 30 is District 66, which I know several calls are on. Theirs is at in Richmond. But again, if you're from a different district, check your district website, find out where it is. I encourage you to attend. It's a wonderful time to meet other Toastmasters and renew friendships. I started going about 9 years ago. I don't think I've missed one since. Another way is visit other clubs. As you can see from this map, and I said earlier, there's Toastmasters clubs all over the world. If you're going on vacation, look up where a Toastmasters club is. Or, even better, a lot of clubs are still meeting virtually. Pretty much any time of any day, there's a Toastmasters meeting going on somewhere in the world. Just go to Toastmasters, find a club, and different areas. There are websites that list different online meetings that people can attend. So check it out. You're going to learn that even though Toastmasters clubs, they all have the same components, they have different ways of doing things. I'm a member of 4 clubs. I don't think any of the 4 clubs have the same agenda. Some do table topics in the beginning, some do it at the end, and just the way the evaluations are handled. But we all do good work, and it's what our members want and works best for them. And show you I put my money where my mouth is. I was in London with my wife late last year, and we actually went to visit a Toastmasters club in London. And we're going on vacation next week, and we are looking at a Toastmasters club. As a Toastmaster, you are allowed to go to any Toastmaster meeting in the world. There are some, especially corporate clubs, that you may have to go through security. There's some that are government organizations that you're not allowed into, but most of the community clubs are very welcoming of guests because as a Toastmasters, we're an international family. As promised, speech contest. We're at the end of speech contest season, but speech contest season does start at the end of this calendar year, anywhere from November to January, depending on your district. I highly encourage you to check out speech contest. Even if for the international speech contest, there is a couple requirements, one of it being a level 2, which is about a half dozen speeches and activities. There's no reason, even if you just joined Toastmasters today, you can't get a level 2 by then. What doing the speech contest is going to do, it's going to help you learn where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. It's going to take, usually what most people do is they take a speech, and as they go up the rung, they refine the speech. It is a great learning experience. The sad part is there's a lot of clubs out there, and you being maybe a member of one, they don't send any contestants, which means as long as you meet the requirements, all you have to do is hold up your hand and says, yeah, I'll enter the speech contest. And you get to go, represent your club. It is a great learning experience. Most people I know who have entered the speech contest are glad that they did, even if they lost at the area level. I don't want to say lost; they did not win. There's a difference because they benefited from competing. And even if you're not don't want to compete in the speech contest, I've been a member 11 plus years. I have never once competed in a speech contest. A lot of it's because I'm not eligible because as a district officer, but also I like helping put on the contest. And I pulled this page out because this shows you all the functions that you can have in a contest that aren't contestants. They need a chief judge. They need judges of the speeches. They need ballot counters. They need timers. And what even makes the speech contest better, spectators. If you've ever spoken in front of a small audience, it's not the same vibe as speaking in front of 20 or 30 or more people. So just, even if you have no interest in competing in a speech contest, It'll be on the district calendar that I highlighted earlier. That, where the speech contests are, check them out. Even if you're just going to watch, you're going to see some fabulous speeches. Next, become a club officer. And you may be a brand new Toastmaster and you go, well, I have no experience. That's fine. This Toastmasters is where you get the experience. Even though there's 8 pins, there's really 7 officer positions. There's the president, secretary, treasurer. Past president is a club. They're on the executive committee, but they're not actually a club officer. Vice president education, vice president membership, vice president public relations, and sergeant at arms. I'll give a quick overview on these. There is more information on the website, which is going to be my next slide. But the club president, they're the CEO of the club. Club secretary, they keep the meeting minutes and the records of the club. Club treasurer, they handle the finances of the club. Member dues, if the club has any expenses. Vice president education, they track people's progression through pathways. Generally, they develop the agenda for the upcoming meeting. Vice president membership, they coordinate guests into becoming members and then work with existing members to find out how we can improve their membership experience. Vice president PR, they make people aware of the club. They handle the social media. They handle, the information on the website. Their job is to make people aware that the club exists. Sergeant at arms, I've nicknamed them several years ago. They're the keeper of the crap. They maintain all of the club supplies, and this may vary from club to club. But the gavel, any forms that you have, any ribbons, they set up the rooms. If it's a virtual meeting, they're generally the Zoom master in charge of making sure the Zooms is set up. If you're in a corporate club, they make sure that the meeting rooms are booked. Again, you don't need experience. For club president, I would suggest that you do another officer position first. But I've seen some really good club presidents who were new members because they had that skill set. But again, get involved. Help chart the direction of your club. There's resources available. And that's the one thing I will point out with Toastmasters. You need help, there's resources available online, or just hold up your hand. This is just a quick snapshot of some of the information that's available on the District 38 website. And on the international website, I just did the first couple roles, but if you scroll down further, you will see all 7 officer roles. And it gives an overview of what the position does and some resources on how you can do the job and what it entails, and find out if you're interested. With the club officers, the Toastmaster year runs July through June. Almost all clubs are on a 1-year officer cycle. So now is the time, if you're interested in any of the roles, talk to your current club officers. Again, from my experience, most clubs, they just want to find somebody to do the job. All you have to do is hold up your hand and say, yes, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to give it my best effort. That's all you need to do in most cases. If clubs have elections, that's a good problem to have, because that means more than one person wants the job. Another thing is, you may actually feel you're not ready or can't commit to it. Find out who the current club officer is in that role that you would like. Ask to shadow them. Ask if you can be their assistant. This is how you're going to learn, and you're going to take some of the workload off of them. Okay, we're almost finished. The to-do list. 1, register for pathways. 2, ask for support. As I just said, all you have to do is hold up your hands. People will help you, but also ask for support from the people around you, your friends, your family, your employer. Let them know you joined Toastmasters and why you've joined Toastmasters and how they can help you make the process easier. Get a mentor, get somebody to help you. Take meeting roles. Whatever the role is, you're going to be learning, you're going to get experience from it. I suggest you don't do the same role over and over again. Mix them up, but take on a different role. give your icebreaker. You're more ready than you thought. And some people, at your club may push back on me. That's fine. I've accepted the fact that other people can be wrong. If you need to do your icebreaker by reading the paper word for word, do it. If you need to do notes, if you need to stand by behind the podium, whatever it takes for you to do your icebreaker, do it. Because each step, you're going to get better. If you're a year from now, you're still giving speeches, reading from the paper, okay, maybe that's not as acceptable, but for your icebreaker, just get up and do it. Expand your comfort zone. Every job I've had in Toastmasters, I've done because I didn't know how to do it. And I figured I'd learn on the thing, and I've become better because of it. So if you keep expanding your comfort zone, pretty soon you'll be comfortable doing everything. Explore opportunities outside the club, visit other clubs, visit district events. Check out your district website, check out Toastmasters.org. And if I didn't say it before, get involved. Yeah. And other thing is, have fun. We have plenty of opportunity to have fun. There's plenty of other things that people could be doing on a Sunday night or your regular meeting time. We want to make Toastmasters fun. We want to have a good time because we could be giving the best information in the world. If you're not enjoying yourself, you're more than likely not coming. I did an officer's training where I put on different Minnie Mouse ears for each of the officer roles. I wanted to highlight, yes, it's silly, but we have fun. We have a good time. We laugh at ourselves. And when we make a mistake, and trust me, you will make a mistake, laugh it off. We are here all together. Your journey will not be linear. There will be ups, there will be downs. But overall, you will find yourself better afterwards. Remember, don't give up. You're not alone, and you do matter. Okay. Do we have any questions before I turn the recording off? Okay. I am going to stop the recording.